Hey there, Sam here from Retrotec, here to tell you about our new blower door fan called the Model 7000. Some of you have probably heard about this before. It's been in the works for quite a while now, and now it's finally ready for release. So we'll dive into just a couple of the key features of the fan, and then we'll dive into some of the specs. So the 7000 is built into the shell that you're familiar with. This is still the same fan shell that we've used for the models 5000 and 6000. If you're familiar with our Model 5000 fan, everything plugs into the fan shell the exact same way that fan does. So you'll plug in your yellow tube to read fan pressure here at the top, as well as your speed control cable coming from your manometer. One important thing to note is that the Model 7000 will only work with the DM32X gauge. So if you have a DM32 and you're wanting to use this fan, you'll need to upgrade your gauge. We're not doing any more upgrades to the DM32. There's just no storage left on the device to add anything else. So any products moving forward will be added only to the DM32X. So please keep that in mind. And this box that you see here beside it, this is the power supply. So this will sit on the floor. This black cable will plug into your power source. This red cable will go in and plug into the fan. The biggest difference between this fan and the other fans that we've used is the motor type. So there is a much more powerful and efficient DC motor in this fan. So it gives us a higher top end flow than pretty much any other portable blower door out there, but it also makes the fan a lot lighter. So the fan itself is only 23 pounds, so could save a lot of backs that way. The Model 5000 and 6000 are both pretty heavy. So if you're having to haul equipment up flights of stairs, which we often need to do for commercial building testing and multifamily testing, carrying this fan around will be a whole lot easier than it has been. Now, we've demonstrated and presented on this fan at a few conferences here in the past. One thing that some of you might have heard before is that this fan will be battery powered, and that is true. However, right here at the initial launch, it will only be available with the power supply. The battery pack will be available later. And no, I don't have a date for that, nor do I have an approximate time. But the battery will look very similar to this power supply, and we've made the power supplies and the batteries stackable. So there's little feet and little indentions at the top that allow you to stack these, so that way you don't have as much stuff scattered across the floor, and maybe keep your testing area a little more organized when you're using multiple fans. But the battery will look something like this, but unfortunately I don't have any more information on that at this time. But once the battery is ready for release, you'll be seeing another video from me. Once you turn the power supply on, you'll hear a couple of beeps. And that's how you know the fan is ready to go. It still has the same status light that will blink if a gauge is not connected. Once a gauge is connected, you will see a steady green. And like our other fans, we've included a USB port on the fan top to power the gauge in case it's getting low on battery. So now let's pull up some of the specs and dive into that. So let's dive into the 7000 specs here. We talked about the lightweight a little bit before. Here we can see the fan only is 23 pounds, but when we fit on the rings and the ranges and the B8 plate, it's just over 25 pounds. The power supply is almost 13 and a half pounds. So the flows of this fan are pretty impressive. We'll start with the 120 volt version that we'll see here in North America. At 0 Pascal back pressure, we're looking at about 7,800 CFM. But with this being a high-powered fan, we'll likely see this used in commercial buildings most often. So we'll see just over 7,000 CFM. For the 120 volt version, 50 pascals, we're looking at about 73. But if we look at the 240 volt version of this, we can get a lot more airflow out of it. So at 75 pascals, we're looking at 8,600 CFM. So we can move quite a bit of air with that. Along with the lightweight and the power of it and the future ability to run off a battery, there's some safety features that we had to put in here as well. With the fan being lightweight and powerful, if it somehow got out of the cloth or out of a panel, we wanted it to be able to shut down immediately. So if the fan falls over, the fan will turn off. That way it won't go flying across the room or out a door or something like that. So I'll actually go ahead and demonstrate that here for you. I'll power it on and then tip it over. Okay, so if I power the fan on, and I'll just manually turn it on a little bit. Now if I lower it down, now it just killed it. So that way the fan falls out of the door, blows itself out. That way it'll go ahead and power itself down so it doesn't cause any issues. And to reset it, you just power it off and power it back on again. And you're good to go. There's also an electronic speed control that we've been able to tune for this fan. When we were really starting things off, right, when you turn it on, if you select a target pressure, it would just ramp right up there. But we've actually been able to tune that down a little bit, so that way when you're using it with other fans, like if you're using the Model 6000 or the Model 5000 to do a large building test, it'll actually ramp up and down at the same rate of those fans so that they can work together to achieve a uniform pressure throughout the building. Another safety feature that we built into was the auto brake. So in case of fan failure, the fan will go ahead and stop and power down and not keep spinning. So that way, if it feels like that there's something going wrong with it or anything like that, it'll go ahead and stop. And the nice thing about this too is that the fan blades will never go in the wrong direction. If you've done a lot of large building tests before, and especially on windy days, you'll see that the fan blades will windmill. There might be some cases where they're spinning in the wrong direction. You shoot the power to them and they keep going in the wrong direction. This fan will never do that. It only spins in one direction. So if you're having some issues throughout the building with networking your fans together, sometimes it can be tough to see if some fans have power and some don't because of that windmilling issue. But with this fan, of course, like if it's not getting power, the wind's not going to blow the fan blade around. You'll be able to see that it does not have power to it to be able to quickly troubleshoot some issues faster. So that's the Model 7000. We're really excited about it. This fan has been in the works for a long time, and this is really what the future of blower door fan technology is going to look like. Now that we have this ability to make them lighter, more powerful, tune the fan speeds a lot better, this is how we see air tightness testing moving forward. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're happy to chat with you about it, and happy testing.